In the spirit of celebrating children, Community Report took time to focus on extraordinary children who are doing tremendously well in one area or another. Tamara is 11 and she has read over 400 books. Michael and Farouk are hyperrealism artists. 11-year-old Temitaya is a world-renowned saxophonist, and Omotayo is a young innovator. With the help of a teacher, a tutor, and their parents, these kids have been groomed to become better at what they love to do. While some have started to make money from it, others do it for the passion. Welcome to Community Report on Channels Television. I'm Victoria Ido. Children, they say, are the leaders of tomorrow. But then, tomorrow starts from today. The successful man or woman started as a child, which is why the development of every child is vital for growth of any society. As children grow from infants to young adults, it's important for them to develop every stage properly. Some children are faster than others, while others may have been able to develop great skills from a very young age. Tamara Ibitumo is one of those kids who started to use their gifts for a good cause. Tamara is an 11-year-old girl who has a passion for books. A student of Christian High School, she has developed a reading ability alongside her two sisters.
I started reading at the age of 4. My mom put me in this online reading library app. It was called Me Genius, and she told us to read at least 3 short books every day, and we started to like reading. So we were using the app for about 4 years. Then after that, we started going to this library, Liam and Noel's. We would borrow books or read there for 3 hours. Then my mom would come pick us up, or we'll sometimes borrow books or buy books. Then we sometimes used to go to Latena, Bano. We used to just go get books to read. Then after that, we went back to the online reading library, Epic. It counts how many books you read, and then you get these badges, different awards, and it was kind of fun. Because if you read 3 books in a week, or you read past this time, they give you a different badge, and it was very fun. I guess that's why I like reading.
With lots of books to pick from, Tamara has her favorite.
I like to read these books, Mallory Towers by Enid Blyton. It's about these boarding schools, and the characters do very interesting and funny stuff. I like to read Jacqueline Wilson books. They talk about real life things, how the characters solve them. They're very interesting, and you always want to read more of them. I also like reading books by Nigerian authors too. I read this book by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I didn't finish it though. It was called Half of a Yellow Sun. I think the book was nice. It was okay. I also read this book, The Adventures of Lara and Dara by Lara Giwa. It was also very nice too. I like to read mainly fiction books. I don't really like fantasy that very much. I prefer reading books about real things that happen and you can learn from.
Writing is another skill she started to develop, and she plans to write a book before she turns 12.
I want to become a scientist and a writer. Why? I just like science. It interests me, and I like reading books, and I also like writing too, so I'd want to write a book. I actually plan to write one before I turn 12.
Reading is a culture Tamara has developed over the years. She believes everyone needs to read more.
I just like reading because it's interesting and you can learn a lot of things from books. Well, I give them a book. I recommend a book that I think they would like to read. Reading helps you. Reading expands your vocabulary. It's fun. It's interesting, and you can learn a lot from it. There are not that many things that can do that all at once.
For a child of this age, playing usually catches their attention. Tamara seems to have developed a thick skin and can manage without it.
On Sunday, the school had a fun fair, and my mom said I had to stay home and study because there was test. So I had to skip the fun fair. I was a bit upset and angry, but I still stayed home and studied. And after that, I read some of the new books my mom bought for me, and I guess it was okay.
So far,
Yes.
Tamara has read over 400 books, and it doesn't look like she's stopping anytime soon.
The Me Genius, it's about 200. The Epic counts how many books you've read, and I've read 157 there. And I have about 200 and something in my bookshelf, so I could say over 400.
Over 400 books?
Yes.
In 8 years. How many pages are these books?
Well, when I was younger, I could read short-paged books, like short books, but now the books I read, they're about 300 and something pages.
How long does it take you to read one book?
On a school day, and I have lots of things to do, maybe 2 days, 2-3 days. But on a normal day, like during the holidays where I can read books anytime I want, it could 1 day.
Even her younger siblings have taken to reading.
I like to read Captain Pen books and Big Mate books, and Diary of the Winged Brigade. I've read up to 365 books. Tamara, my mom and my dad inspired me to read more books.
Her mom, a strong force behind the children, tells us the effort she puts in developing the reading culture in them.
From when my daughter was born, I'm reading and motivating the children is something that we're passionate about, and I've always known it has to be intentional parenting. So when my daughter was 4 years, she started reading from 4 years plus. So before then, from 3, I started reading to her. That tradition of bedtime stories, I did that a bit. I think I did bedtime story more with her. As older kids come in, sometimes you just get lazy about bedtime stories. So I did bedtime stories with her frequently from 3, and then from 4. For me to put her in that line of reading, I stumbled on her app on the iPad on iTunes, Me Genius app. I realized I looked at it because for me to expose my kids to anything, I have to be sure that it's age appropriate and content appropriate. So I looked at it and I said this was it. It had different topics, different subjects, almost over 800 books on Me Genius app. I bought the app. Some people will tell you it's not good to pay, always buy free things. I buy free ones on iTunes, but at the same time there was value, right? So I started paying for it. I did that for 3 years, I think from 2012 to 2015 for 3 years. So she started reading. So I made sure she read at 4. They are still kids, so you need to be there with them, read with them, show them, and all of that. So we did that for 3 years, and then the second was born. I made sure we followed through to the second as well too. I continued that, and then from when she was, my first became 6. From when she was 5, from when she was 6. When she was 6, the second was 3, I remember. So at that point in time, I started the tradition of buy books a month. So I wanted to inculcate that habit of books in them. So I wanted to take them to a library, right? So I was taking them to a bookshop in VI, bookshops in VI on the island. We go there on a monthly basis. So it got to a point in time where they started reminding, Mom, we've not gone this month. So that's how it started. So we started doing buy books a month, go to the library, go to the bookshop, buy books. And from when that second one was 3, the second one became 4 and started reading as well. So the same thing, I made books available, accessible to them as much as possible. And then the third one came in line as well. It was the same thing. So after the e-genius for 3 years, we started buying books every other month. It became a tradition. Kids were now looking forward to it. The same way kids will look forward to ice cream, cinema. Oh, I want to go to the cinema, I want to get ice cream, we want to go to play. I wanted my kids to get to a point where reading and buying books is an excitement. That's where I got them to eventually.
We take a trip around her school to see her amongst her friends. Having so many books to read, she started to use social media to her advantage by reviewing books. Another fascinating young chap is Timotaya Coyote. He is 11 years old, and his journey into the music industry started at age 4.
I love music generally. When you talk about music to me, it's an hobby that I like doing every day. When I was 2 years old, because my daddy sings in the choir, so I go to the choir stand, try to play any instrument I can play. But I first ended up with the chucking drum. So I did that for a while. Then I saw BJ Sax playing the saxophone on TV one day, and I was moved. I was like, Mom, I need this instrument. That this is what I want. I don't want any drums. I don't want anything. That this is what I want.
And of course, Daddy had a thing to say.
At first, my father did not agree because by that time I was representing Lagos State with mathematics competition, science competition, and quizzes.
But then, Daddy had good reasons.
I didn't support the idea because actually he was doing very well in his academics, and I don't want anything that would disturb or distract him from that. So I said no.
As a student of King's College, he has mastered an easy way to combine his academics and his passion.
Challenges I had was combining education and saxophone. But I was able to balance them up by reading during the week, from Monday to Friday, reading. While Saturday and Sundays, I do my music fully.
Temi owes his success to his parents, especially his mom, who saw firsthand the passion in him.
First, I give glory to God. After God, my role models are actually my parents.
I met somebody, I said, at age 4, can you start learning sax? Then that person told me that, of course, it's possible. I said, can you get me a teacher? He said, yes. So we got a teacher for him. His dad was like, you want your son to do everything at age 4, it's going to affect him and all that. I said, well, it's for God. In fact, we didn't even plan that it's going to be something like this. My own is for him to start learning, then to know how to play, so that I can be playing it for God in our church.
Temi has a word for parents.
For young children that want to learn the saxophone around the world, I want to tell them that they should find their talent, establish it, tell their parents, and to parents out there, they should encourage their children to not to bury their talent and to use it to the glory of God.
For children who love to play someday, learning to play the sax requires more than just the love for music.
This saxophone is a wood-reed instrument. So it takes air for your diaphragm to blow it. So now, this is his neck. This is where the air passes through to bring out the sound. And these are the keys to make a correct, like example, if I want to make a rhythm, I have to like la 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 la. There are some certain keys I have to press to make that la 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 come out. So these are what the remaining keys are for. And this is a mouthpiece. It needs a reed and a ligature so that it works very well, so that the sound will come out appropriately. And also, secondly, when you get your saxophone, you get a teacher, then you start with your major scales, learning how to play it, learning your brain's control and different things. So it takes a lot of hard work.
We also have children doing exceptionally well in the world of art.
Just like you in primary
From just applying different paints and paper with brushes, these children begin to master the use of pencils and bars to make beautiful and realistic drawings.
What colors do you mix to get graded?
With the hand and eye coordination, beautiful pictures and sketches are made. One line links to the other, creating multiple lines, forming a facial expression. Creating a picture-perfect image takes time. The saying that patience is a virtue is so true to an artist. That's why, with a large dose of concentration and patience, the different lines, tones and shades begin to turn into a real picture. With a display of different arts, it means one thing: there is a lot of money in this room.
Does anybody need color to work with?
Art, music and books is not all there is to kids. Some kids have taken technology as a hobby.
Yes, ma'am.
As many tech and education experts believe, children should be exposed to computational thinking at a very young age. That's why Omotayo Lugas has picked up coding and robotics as a hobby.
I want to become an astronaut in the future. I like to code. And for fun, I like to interact with robots and work with them and have fun with them.
These young innovators, with assistance from fellow young minds like him, are out to create something spectacular.
Good. What's next?
Ultrasonic sensor.
Ultrasonic sensor.
And the RJ25 cable.
Okay, where's the... No, like, we are not putting the ultrasonic sensor. We are putting this one. Is this one we are putting?
They've come together to learn all they need to know about coding, robotics and even music at Right Hand Innovation Center.
It's down. Bring it up. Good. Yeah. Put it here.
While learning the basic programming skills, the children build websites and games that help them refine their design, logic and problem-solving abilities.
It's red, only red. Red and blue. Okay.
For these kids who may not know and understand the robotics and computers have fast become prevalent in our lives, have been made to understand programming and programming concept.
It's not the word door.
You haven't screwed it.
Yeah, put it.
They do not just learn, they create and innovate.
Made a mistake with it. This boat. Okay. Yeah, bring it.
How many?
Chimamanda.
How many?
2. That'll be.
Let's check the manual. Wait. Move.
In their work together as a team, they create a soil moisture monitoring device which can be used for adequate plant growth.
We created the soil moisture monitoring device in Right Hand Innovation Center during the Easter Masterclass. We were asked to work on a project on the second SDG goal, which is zero hunger. So we can have enough oxygen for us to breathe in, and we can stop cutting down of trees. And also, so when farmers want to plant their trees, they can use this device to check whether the water is too high or too low. And if the water is too high, it can spoil the plant, and if the water is too low, it can spoil the plant. So we use this device to minimize the water in the soil, so we can have enough oxygen to breathe in.
When you put it in water,
it shows W, which means words. And when button A is pressed, it shows the reading
the amount of water that is inside.
With the right screws, different wires and parts, Ty assembles this device together.
Put it here. Full screen. No, wait.
With a guide from a manual, he puts these pieces into a hole.
Miss. We're done.
Miss Gonzala.
No, it's not like that. Wait,
Maybe this one is meant to be here. It's not working.
From computers and tabs, these devices are configured to do exactly what it's programmed to do.
So call installer, wait.
So wait.
I know what to do different.
Because I put your own here.
No, it's meant here.
Oh. So now you put it like this, right? Wait.
We put it the wrong way. Let me try. We put it the wrong way.
Young minds seem to be creating great impacts in the society as they now tend to prefer solutions to some of the nation's problems with the help of these devices.
What inspired us to create these devices is that we have problems like deforestation, climate change, and tree cutting. And we really want to look on tree cutting. So we want to now start tree planting so that we can plant more trees so that they can, because trees gives us oxygen for us to breathe. If we don't have much trees in our area, there will be scarce oxygen. So, but also trees and plants gives us healthy foods.
The development of every child takes the work of the society, parents, and also teachers. The role teachers play is vital as the children spend more hours in school. Learning the right way to teach is what this group of teachers are doing here.
It is time for us to see beyond just academics in our children and begin to discover that most of them are actually, they already have their gifting and their talent inside of them. Some are naturally good with singing, some with drawing, some with relationships, some with acting. And it will just take, our education to begin to see that aspect as we'll begin to bring in a whole lot of initiative ideas into whatever we're doing with our children. Okay, what do I mean by that? Our co-curricular activity needs to really, really come up in our schools so that from there we can help the children, just give the best that they have inside of them that is just natural with them. Yes, academics will play its own part, but with all this co-curricular activity, it will help the children to actually use their talent, inborn talent that they don't really need to struggle with. They will just need somebody to help them make it better, and then they're shining. And we have a whole lot of them there in our schools.
Children who are gifted in a particular way should not be discouraged, but encouraged by both teachers and parents.